Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Sudha, and I'll talk about my work in my presentation, but just being here, I felt I should share a personal story. So I was born and I grew up in Bombay, not the Mumbai, but I'll say Bombay because it was the posh and elite part. Like my school had Bollywood superstars, kids, things like that. And the hidden part of my life was my summers when I went to my mother's village in Andhra. And my amama, right, my grandmother, she was one of those boss of the house, right, like a big family. So she had this array of servants, and I've seen all kinds of food processing and cooking, right? I've seen rice ground to flour, I've seen idli, dough being ground, I've seen buttermilk being made, like the butter being churned, all of that. I'm horrible at all those things. But I mean, I romanticized this in my youth. I mean, this just felt like this hidden romantic part. And now it's like full circle where I understand it from those women, the tedium of the work, what it meant to them, how their lives are now. So I kind of feel like this work for me, in my personal journey is also sort of a full circle. Yeah. So I'm actually talking about two projects the Western Avadh one is the more documented, but I did want to introduce Keranadu. Okay, Western Avadh is, if you see the map on the left, it's the region northwest of Lucknow, so very much central UP. And the work there has been it's a very big team working on it. And Sangtin Kisan Mazdoor Sangathan is a collective of farmer laborers in Sitapur and Hardoi districts in that place. And many of the people in this list are associated with that. And then there's Richa Kumar, of course, and this work was funded by IIT Delhi. So Keranadu means land of lakes. It is Chikbalapur district in Karnataka and the neighboring Kolar district. So these are drought-prone areas. They have a rich history of lakes and irrigation and all that. So here again, it's a vast team, and this work was supported by APU Bangalore, and I've been part of both the teams. So how the work started in Western Avadh, the picture on the left that you see is this book that's being released next month, in which we have a chapter describing the story. I mean, this is from the University of Bristol, so it's a little expensive also, but I like the cover, so I just wanted to share that. So where we started was from the research point of view, which Richa had been grappling with, and we discussed this quite a bit when we met, that with modern agricultural techniques, we've seen this sharp rise in productivity. We've gone from a food deficit nation to a food surplus nation. But what has happened with nutritional security? So that was the research question. From the field, we had a millet initiative. We actually were able to trace that these are traditional foods of the area. They're not from somewhere else. So we felt, okay, let's revive them. And the program wasn't going well. Farmers weren't adopting it, people weren't eating it. And, we were just in this dharam sankat really, why are we doing this? So we met, and somehow, like, in our discussions, it sort of added. And I don't know what Richa felt, but I was definitely not thinking we are going into this much, history and geography and culture, but that's kind of where we ended. So Richa's already talked about this, so it simplifies things for me. But I also wanted to emphasize that, we had to do a lot of triangulation. So what we found in the field, what we found in historical documents, with that problematic, biases, and what we found in agri data. So, we did this triangulation work also, and then took it back to the community and heard what the community said, went back. So it was, quite an iterative process, really interesting, and which is why we have so much information which we felt we need to classify. So a friend and colleague, Janki from IIIT Bangalore, suggested that we should document this, digitally, like have a portal. And through the discussions, we came up with these categories of foods that don't follow any nutritional or, food classification, but based on the stories that people told us, we came up with these categories. And if you haven't visited the portal, please do, because in each of these categories, you'll find introductions, you'll find community voices, there are videos, and there's timelines. Like we're trying to construct, narratives of what happened over the last 50 years. So please do check it out. Okay, so just briefly touching on the community outcomes. Yes, we've tried to have these discussions. I won't say we've been super successful. We've had some successes, some, I won't say failures yet because we've not given up. So the poster on the left came out of a discussion with the youth. So I was asking them, okay, what is name a fruit? First, everyone will say apple, right? And then someone to show how smart he is, Didi ko impress karna hai, kiwi, right? Yes, yes. So then we had this whole discussion, and they mentioned all the names on the left. I mean, it's not something that I had to introduce, they introduced it. And that discussion then said, that led to this poster. And also in the WhatsApp group of that youth forum, people started posting photos with these fruits. मैं जाके जंगल जलेबी तोड़ के आया, right? I got jungle jalebi, I collected this. So it was hopeful. So we have to sustain these kinds of efforts. The top left is a community level millet processing unit. We call it Sehat Ka Bardana. It's really community level. I mean, at the most, we'll get 1 quintal of rice per day. After 2 days, cleaning first and then processing. But we are very much oriented to support the community. So what we see at the bottom is there's this thing called the Holi Parikrama, right? The 40 days before Holi, they walk 84 kos, 82 kos. Kos is 2.5 kilometers. So people walk barefoot through the region. So this unit is right on the path of that parikrama. So we set up, like we put some posters, we called people to come. We might have cooked also that day or another day. Anyway, but we just keep trying to reach out to people. So the result is that whatever millets we are producing, 60% is being sold in the local area, like within Sitapur and Hardoi. So beyond that, 40%, I mean, other parts of UP like Lucknow or Balrampur. But we are really not, we don't have the sending out of the region model. We really want to focus on the region. How am I doing with time? Okay, so now I'll talk about Keranadu. So this is a very different project because here these foods are still alive. Like in Sitapur, people have forgotten these foods. But here in the top left corner, you'll see in an FGD, the women collected about 30 varieties of uncultivated greens, and they were demoing it to us. At the bottom, Muskan, our intern, is holding kare hannu. It's some fruit that they just go and forage. And on the right is Chandru, who's sort of the soul of this project. So in his hand, he has something called isildu or isiglu, which are wing termites. These are those insects that flutter around the lights, and they'll mate and they'll die in a day. Now people collect that, like the wings fall off, right? People collect that. They some dry it and store it, some roast it. I mean, I don't know all the ways in which they do it, but it's a delicacy. It's primarily a Dalit food, but in this region, non-Dalits also eat it. So that day, I finally got to taste it. It's yummy. So then the other thing that this group does is that they have a cultural group, and I want to play a song. I wasn't able to upload it here, so I'll just play 40 seconds of it. Can you hear it?
ಗದ್ದೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆದು ಬಳ್ಳಿ ಬೇಲಿಗಳನ್ನು ಬಳಸಿ ಬಗೆ ಬಗೆಯ ಗಡ್ಡೆ ಕಿತ್ತು ಬೆರಕೆ ಸೊಪ್ಪುಗಳನ್ನು ಚಿಮಿಟಿ ಕಾಡು ಹಣ್ಣು ಕಾಯಿ ಕೊಯ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇರಿ ಹೊತ್ತುಕೊಂಡು ಊರು ಕೇರಿಗೆ ಬಂದವಂದ್ರೇ ಬಡವರೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರುವ ಕೇರಿಯಲ್ಲ ಕಲರವ ಬಡವರೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರುವ ಕೇರಿಯಲ್ಲ ಕಲರವ.
So So this is one of the songs that they have composed, and this is my very like my first draft of trying to translate it. In 40 seconds, they've told so much. I'll just so here on the left, the top photo, the person on the left is. Okay, the person on the left, Shashi, is the one who's composed this song. Chandru has set it to tune. Chandru is in the middle. And I'll just show this again. So if you look at this, and the Keri is the Dalit part of the village. So that is the term that they have in that region for the Dalit part of the village. So this is pretty much what I was able to put together. I mean, there'll be more drafts of this, but I thought I'll just end with this. I mean, challenges and all are there, but I think this is a good point to end. Okay, thank you.